Well, welcome everyone. This is our final webinar hangout for the CMALT CMOOC for the second iteration for 2018. It's been great to have everyone on board for the last 7 weeks. And we're today looking at the future plans, looking at where people are at with their portfolios, getting ideas around how to submit them, and hopefully talking about sharing various parts of our portfolios as well. So with us today, we have all the way from Nelson, Paul. So Paul Devine, and it's looking pretty awful out the window there, Paul.
Yeah.
It's probably one of those odd days where it's actually better to be in Auckland.
Yeah.
And next we have Lisa, all the way from just down the hallway from me in Auckland.
Hi, everyone.
So welcome, Lisa.
Hello.
And then a little bit further away, and also in a completely different time zone, we have Culver, all the way from Coventry University. And it's great to have you on board with us. I know it's actually in the morning, no, evening yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday for you. We're in sort of a time warp, aren't we?
What's the time difference? Is it 12 hours or 11?
I think it's you're 10:30, I'm 9:30.
Okay. So
Yeah, it's currently 13 hours because of daylight saving
Maybe.
changes and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So welcome, and great to have you all on board. So I guess what I wanted to discuss was the final section of a CMALT portfolio, which is the future plans, and really that's like the contextual statement. It's a required part of your portfolio, but it's not actually assessed formally as such. So you need to have a future plan section, looking at what you're going to continue doing with your practice and the impact, particularly of technology on that for the CMALT portfolio. Where you're heading, perhaps bouncing off your specialization, which is the section beforehand of maybe there's new areas that you want to explore in the future, or maybe you want to develop further your area of specialization in technology enhanced learning. So that's really what the future plan section is. It can be relatively brief, but it does need to be there, and it just kind of indicates that it's an ongoing journey. It's not like completed by submitting your portfolio. I guess the key thing for CMALT accreditation is that it's a lifelong journey, really, and becoming part of a global community. As you can see from our hangout, it's great to have people from all around the world here. So that's kind of the future plan section. And I guess what I'd also like to really encourage people to do is to share some of their portfolio. And one way that we've been doing that is the project bank. So just to remind people, I'm going to go into screen sharing here and just remind people where the project bank is on our website. So I'm just going to pop into screen sharing. And yeah, let's share the desktop. There we go. Close that window. So we have our Google Plus community, which is where the discussion forum lives. Obviously, we're going to have to find a different host for that for next year because Google Plus is getting closed down, and they're only going to be keeping an enterprise version going, apparently. So anyone has any good ideas for discussion forums, open discussion forums, then let us know. But the key place to find everything is really off the WordPress site. So cmaltcmooc.wordpress.com. This is kind of our hub, our CMOOC hub. And you can see our weekly activities there. We're up to week 7, which is our final week, future plans and portfolio formats. But you can also see linked off there is the project bank. So if I click onto the project bank, and what we've done there is we've provided a section for each of the weeks of the CMOOC, for each of the core areas of your portfolio, as a repository for people to be able to share examples. So you can see we've got lots of examples of contextual statements. People normally start pretty, enthusiastic, and then it starts to drop off as we go through the weeks. And so we've only got one example so far of collaboration and communication. I'm sure there's some really good examples people could share. And then only one of a future plans part of the portfolio as well. So Culver, I know you said your portfolio is pretty well, getting there pretty well advanced. So it'd be great if you felt like maybe sharing some of those links to the sections that were appropriate to these here. And basically what you do is you click on Submit Project, and then you choose the section that's going into. So if we go into Future Plans, and effectively what you're doing is just providing a link to what you're sharing. So basically it needs to be something online. So I think for most people, they're using some form of e-portfolio as their portfolio. So it'd be just a link to that appropriate section, or it could be a link to an item. It could be a YouTube video, which is illustrating that part. So you give it a title, you give it a description, obviously something a bit more relevant than that. You can put tags if you like. You can upload a little thumbnail image. If you don't, you get the little CMALT by default. Give yourself a star rating. So by default, you get 1 star. You probably want to give it at least 3 stars. I think it's pretty good. Then maybe 4 or 5 stars. But don't let it start 1 star. That's like just sort of saying you're sharing something lame. But yeah, it's just make sure you look at the stars, and the goal really is to get feedback from other people. So as people view your share, they can give it a star rating as well, and then you end up with an average star rating. So then finally, the example, it's just a URL. So it's a link to what you're sharing. It could be a section of a blog post. It could be a section on Mahara. It could be a YouTube video. It could be an Instagram photo or GIF. It's just whatever it is that you're trying to share. So I'll just go back out of that because that's an awesome share. And look forward to seeing some more examples in our project bank. So I just wanted to highlight that because I think it goes under the radar. Sometimes people forget that we've got the project bank there. It's one way of sharing stuff, but it's also one way of going and finding examples rather than having to trawl through links to the various blogs and stuff. If you want to find an example contextual statement, go to the project bank and have a look. Okay. I'm just going to go back to our Google Plus discussion, because the other thing that I really wanted to highlight, I know it's a little bit of a monologue here so far, but I'll just get this stuff out of the way and then we can sort of have a bit more discussion. But we really want to get some feedback on the CMOOC, so we've provided the link there to a survey on Google Docs, and just encourage people to do our survey. I think it's relatively short and painless. Lisa did it yesterday. It's not that hard, is it, Lisa?
No, it's not that hard at all. You just got to be honest, I think is the word.
Excellent, that's what we want. So we want some feedback on how we can improve, and we've got also a couple of little polls along the way. We're actually going to be running a boot camp here for 3 days in 2 weeks' time, and obviously it's going to be a little bit difficult for Culver to come. But if you can get funding to come, Culver, that would be great to have you here. But
yeah, it would be great to see you here.
Yeah, we won't expect you to be here.
Might be a bit. Yeah, I'll try my best.
Yeah, we could always link via a hangout during that time. So the idea really is just to set aside some time for people to really work on trying to knock off some progress on the portfolios. Seems to be the hardest thing is just sitting down and doing it. So we're having a boot camp there, and just once again, just there's a little poll there of alongside the Google Docs survey on the feedback for the CMOOC. That's actually my oldest son there, his photo, having a silly face. But anyway, so there we go. Let's just take the screen mirroring off. Oops, stops. There we go. Well, it's going into an infinite loop. We have Shingai with us as well. Excellent. Good to have you, Shingai, all the way from Nelson too. I assume you're in Nelson at the moment. So it looks like you're actually on campus.
Yes, I am.
Whereas Paul seems to be probably sitting at home.
Comfy at home in this bad weather.
Yeah. Come to sunny
That's the good thing about technology, isn't it? Is that you can be anywhere.
Come to sunny Auckland.
Is it sunny Auckland, really?
Oh, well, yeah, it has been.
So anyway, I was really interested to particularly get some feedback from Culver, because Culver, this is the first time you've done our CMOOC, and I know Paul and Shingai and Lisa have actually done this 2 or 3 times, and they're still in the process of doing their portfolios, which is I think it is a journey and it's a process for most people, but really keen to find out where you're at, Culver, and any feedback, and if there's any sort of feedback you'd like on your portfolio as well.
Yeah, so just to say thank you for the very warm welcome from you guys. on the other side of the world in New Zealand. For me, I was kind of fortunate in a way because I'd just done my fellowship for Higher Education Academy. So that what that meant was that I was able to sort of pull some good examples from there. But the downside to that was that because I'd done it at my last job, which was at the Open University, that was that meant that those are kind of like older examples. I mean, we're only going back as I only changed jobs in January this year, actually. So the context of that is still the same. That's what got me my job where I am now. But it means that some of the context would have changed. So for me, the challenges will be different from where I was before to where I am now in terms of Coventry University. My role, we're working with FutureLearn, but we're also we're working with face-to-face university operations as well as online. So that in itself has its own challenges. So that was a good thing to start with my FHEA. Then I've been quite lucky because I was able to, luckily I was referring to WordPress all the time. Now, because I traveled to work from Milton Keynes to Coventry 1 hour each way by train, I started to print off the WordPress site as an offline copy because internet on the train is good, but it's not fantastic. So having that sort of printed out version week by week, yeah, I mean, I've got an offline printed version to hand, so I don't have to go on the internet for that. That was useful. I got a bit of a blocker at operational issues because I didn't want to spill the beans, because what we're doing is quite cutting edge. It's not a big secret what we do where we are, but the whole world is watching us, literally watching us.
Yeah, I think that's quite that has come up before is the issue of what can you share, and if there is something that's a little bit sort of sensitive to the institution, or maybe there's some ethics involved, can you share that? So that's maybe where that section either needs to be private with a link for the assessors only, or you've got to think sort of creatively around how you share that.
Yeah, in a way that's kind of being mindful but not spilling all the beans, as it were.
Yeah,
that's been a bit difficult for me, but I mean, the best way to get around it this was a big blocker for me, to be fair. So I decided to use a different approach, which was to start sketching my ideas out like a sketch note in my sketchbook. So I can flick through it here. It's a bit rough, by the way, but you'll get a picture on the camera. I'm just going to flick at a good page. So, like for example, so my actions. What would I do? I don't know if you can see very well there. It's not very good. But anyway, that's my actions for each week, and then there'll be a bit about my blocker. And I've taken a picture of it, so you'll see this blocker and me trying to think, what am I going to do next?
Good drawings.
So these are the issues I've been trying to face. Sometimes you can't describe it in writing, but sometimes just by drawing. I don't know if you can see that very well. So for me, it seems
good.
I mean, I guess what sort of leaps to my mind is even sharing those sort of thought processes of like take a photo of it on your camera and upload it to Google Plus or the Project Bank, or if you've got a tablet like an iPad, I mean, even scroll on that instead of a piece of paper. But that's looking great. I mean, you've done a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is that do I use the old examples? I mean, I'm kind of torn in 3 areas. So I did a podcast 2 days ago, about half an hour long. It was a bit too long, actually, me rambling with a sore throat. But I had 3 areas that I had to focus on. So one was where I was before at the Open University, where I am now at the Coventry University, and what potentially I'd like to do in the future. So I suppose the world is your oyster, I suppose, but then you can get lost in what you want to do, but you've got to really stick to the 7 weeks, isn't it? So I think I'll be quite clear about.
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing the 7 weeks is just trying to cover the main areas of the portfolio. It's not like we're expecting people to put their entire portfolio together in 7 weeks. We're just trying to, give them some support. But I think the key thing with CMALT accreditation is each section you need 2 main parts. One is the evidence, so linking to what you've done using technology in education, and the second part is the reflection. What is the impact of that on your practice, upon your learners, or upon people that you work with? So those are the 2 main elements of any part of the portfolio: is evidence and reflection.
So did you say evidence on your teaching and evidence on your impact on learners? Did you say, sorry?
Yeah, so the reflection is what's the impact of that? How has that changed your practice as an academic or as a support person for academics. And what's then the impact on the people that you work with? So either your colleagues, your students, if you're teaching students, or other academics if you're more in a support role. So it's that impact of that experience of using technology in teaching and learning. So the key thing that I think people get normally pinged back on is falling into the trap about talking about technology and teaching technology rather than teaching with technology. So it should really be about how technology is enabling you to do new things in teaching and learning, be able to explore pedagogy, be able to be more flexible, to be able to do things that you couldn't do with perhaps more traditional tools. And of course, that technology can be anything. It's not limited to any particular technology as such. Hey, we just got Raj join us, so welcome, Raj.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Kulveer. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Raj.
Hello.
So it's great for you to connect, because I know that you have been posting comments on the discussion forums and stuff like that. So
yeah, I wasn't aware about the time change, and I'm having a meeting with Amanda. She's running a bit late, so I thought I might as well just join in for a couple of minutes.
yeah, well, Amanda's supposed to be joining us as well.
I'm not sure where she is.
Well, that's okay. But good to have you here, Raj. So Cole was just sort of giving us a bit of overview of where he's at with his portfolio, and I was kind of rudely interrupting all the way. But anyway, back to Cole.
So I'll just recap very quickly. So Raj, I was just telling Tom and the others that I've been basing my CMALT application from my FHEA, so Fellowship in Higher Education Academy. So that was really all about, I mean, that in itself was reflecting on my practice at the Open University, which is the job I was at before I was at Coventry now University. So I looked at like 3 case studies, and that was about the Prison VLE project, which is about teaching in secured students in secured environments. That was a very big project that I worked on and tried to problem solve a lot of the issues about making sure our learners don't accidentally go on the internet when they're in prison. So those sort of things. And then other things about my role as a TEL designer, which I did for about 9 months over there at the OU. And then the other area was about authoring a short course for staff at Open University on understanding digital capabilities. So that in itself was that was what I did it on, really. I had to do it twice actually, so I had to redo it because I didn't put enough on collaboration and assessment, which was good because that kind of put me in a better position for where I'm in my role, where I'm today. So that was good.
Are you all done with most of it, and then you're ready to submit, or what's the state?
Well, with the FHA, I've got that, but with the CMALT, I'm kind of like trying to, like when you get references from my FHEA where someone said, okay, I can reference that Kulveer done everything for what he said he has done. I'm having to extract those quotes and put it into my evidence for my CMALT now. Okay. So it's a case of really going back to my line manager and saying, look, can you, say I've done what I said I did in my current role.
Cool.
So that's a challenging bit.
And are you using WordPress?
I was actually, but I had to take it down because it started to share my address of where I live. Not that I'm going to come to my house, but I've had to take it down. And Google, unfortunately, has saved my address on the search results. So I'm trying to find a way to get rid of that, but it's been a bit annoying. So if you Google me, you'll find me on the 3rd page of where I'm going to be living. So it's not very good.
I think that is one of the issues with using social media. Is just really checking the settings and checking the GPS location settings.
Yeah, it's a template auto default, so it's a bit annoying. Yeah.
I had a meeting with Tom the other day, and I'm also progressing well on my CMALT. I started using WordPress, and I think we have Amanda here. So I started using WordPress, and at the moment I have written my contextual statement, and because I've just almost finished my senior fellowship of HEA. It's the draft is ready. It's reviewed by my mentor. So I'm going to be mapping parts of it. And the goal is that hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, I should be ready. Let's say hi to Amanda here.
Hi.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey, Amanda.
Hi.
So I'll just point out, here's Culver all the way from Coventry. Amanda, he's joined us.
Oh, welcome, Culver. Hi.
I'm okay. How are you? You all right, Amanda?
I'm good. Yeah. I was reading that you're just about finished.
Yeah, I'm going to try and release bits of it on in the project bank, probably tomorrow. Actually, I'm at a conference tomorrow at Open University, so I'll be there from in the morning till the rest of the day, and then that's on. I don't know if you've heard of BERA, British Educational Research Academy, and British Journal of EdTech are going to be there tomorrow. Wiley Publishers.
Oh,
So it's
good.
all about critical researching methodologies. So that'd be quite interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, they are pretty highly ranked, BJet, but they're not fully open access, so it's a little bit of an issue. But yeah. So I mean, Raj is probably in a very similar sort of position to what you are as far as where he's at with his portfolios, Culver, because he has done a HERDSA fellowship. So HERDSA is kind of Higher Education Research Society in Australasia or something like that. And that kind of then provided some material for his HEA fellowship, and then all of that is kind of feeding into his CMALT portfolio. So Raj is kind of like a recidivist fellowship person, but he's going to have lots of letters after his name.
I'm just waiting to hear from Tom and his colleague to let me know if I can submit in December sometime. So yeah, let's see what happens there.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you guys here, and be awesome to see some of what you've done in the project bank and be able to give you a bit more feedback. So yeah, anything that you actually want some feedback on, Culver or Paul or Shingai, as you're doing your portfolios, and Lisa, I know Lisa's kind of slowly knocking things away.
Yeah, I think the problem I'm having.
And Amanda, of course, Amanda's trying to escape there, but Amanda's working on this. But I think it's important to get feedback from other people. One, because it encourages you, perhaps to encourage you that you're actually doing something really cool. But also just to give some feedback around. So sometimes it's not explicit or clear enough on what you're trying to actually say, because you know it all and you know what you've done. But sometimes you don't really make that connection enough for the assessor or the reviewer or the reader of your blog. So just you getting some third-party feedback is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Shingai, whereabouts are you at with your portfolio?
I'm still stagnant.
Oh well, there's it's just finding that key to get it rolling, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. This year has just been a crazy year, but it's at the back of my mind and collecting evidence here and there. But it's just sitting down and putting it down on paper is
Yeah. So I think part of the key is making sure you kind of just do that as part of your workflow. You normal, whatever you're doing each day is just collecting that evidence so you can then have it available when you start reflecting on it.
Yeah.
And Paul, how about you?
Yeah, I'm about the same as Shingai, really. This year has been nutty, and I'm doing a master's part-time, and I'm looking at trying to find synergies between the two.
Yeah, I think that's part of the key. Just sort of work creatively rather than harder. Use what you're doing.
But I
think
was
there'd be a lot of overlap.
But I was also thinking about the boot camp, and maybe Shingai and I can block out our calendars for a day or two around that same time.
Yeah, that'd be great. And let's just connect everything out.
Because I think that's the key is, the days are busy enough, and unless you actually intentionally block out some work time where it's an actual event, that's one of the things about, having the hangout is good because it's at a certain time and you just make the time and, that's good. But otherwise, the kind of
Slips by otherwise.
The urgent stuff just kind of swamps you and kind of miss out on the worthwhile kind of longer term stuff.
Yeah.
So
well, that would be awesome if we can get people physically here or remotely here virtually. Be great to get some progress going on your portfolios. And I know Lisa will be here.
I will be here. I will be here for sure.
That'll be great. And hopefully, actually, Raja and Amanda will also be here.
Oh, I'm going to be away, actually. I'm going away in a
Are
couple
you?
Yeah, I'm going to the UK.
Lucky person.
You can come in and buy a hangout.
Go and visit Coventry.
Well,
Yeah.
I do have a colleague that I could visit at Coventry in
Oh,
nursing.
wow.
So you never know.
So
Yeah.
you can always say hello.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Do we
Hey,
have-
well, it's kind of coming up to the end of our half hour here. Raj, do you want to add something there, or?
No, I was just asking, do we have some dates for the boot camp?
Yes. So if you've been reading your emails, it's the 20th to the 22nd. It's posted on the Google Plus community. So it's not this coming week, it's the week after.
Fantastic.
So I know
We'll
it's a very
remind you,
busy
and I'm
time
sure-
of year because lots of people are away, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can slot in there and people can actually get some work done. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome. Knew I could rely on you, Lisa. And hopefully Paul and Shingai will be there virtually, and even we might even see a little bit of Culver over here.
Yeah.
Or even Ian, possibly. Yeah. Hey, well, thank you very much, and thank you for being part of our 7 weeks. And it's not like it has to end here. We'll probably start up our webinar series again, probably not until next year now because it's our big summer break here. But we will run the CMOOC again next year, probably starting in March for any of those who need to finish, or if there's colleagues that you want to get on board. So, yeah. Great to have you. So I think we'll finish the broadcast there, and thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.